Hi there and happy Saturday evening. Forgive the rough appearance here. I know I look like I'm a Frenchman who's been lost in the woods for several days, but I've got a little bit of a hoarse voice, and so I've been around at home and not getting out and didn't see the need to shave. Anyhow, that's probably more information than you needed. Today I'm working on a batch of cupcakes for Tawn's aunt, who is turning 70-something tomorrow, and he's busy on another project, so I'm going to work on them instead. And needed a recipe, wasn't sure which one to use, so I decided to pull out the Magnolia Cupcakes book, More from Magnolia. Magnolia Cupcakes is famous in New York City because it was featured in Sex and the City. We visited it. Frankly, I think they taste like cupcakes, nothing really that spectacular, but not terrible either. And it's a recipe I have, so that's what we're going to use. So we're going to use Magnolia's vanilla cupcakes. The ingredients are as follows. We've got 1½ cups of self-rising flour, 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, you may be saying, hang on a second, self-rising flour, what's that all about? Well, that's just simply flour that's got a little bit of salt and some baking powder added. And so if you don't have those handy, you can simply substitute them. 1 cup of self-rising flour is equal to 1 cup of regular flour, plus 1½ teaspoons of baking powder and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Adding to that, we also have 2 sticks of butter, unsalted and softened, 2 cups of sugar, 4 large eggs at room temperature, 1 cup of whole milk, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, or I suppose another flavor if you'd prefer to use that. You also need some paper liners for your cupcake tray. Okay, first you need to turn your oven on to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Since my oven is in centigrade, I need to check my handy-dandy Martha Stewart Living conversion chart, and 350 moderate oven is about 180 degrees centigrade. Okay, start by putting the butter into the bowl of your mixer or an electric beater. You'll notice I did this wrong. You're supposed to actually do the butter first, beat it for a couple of minutes until light, then add the sugar. Well, you can learn from my mistakes. It actually turned out fine anyhow. So you cream the butter, then cream the sugar into it for a couple of minutes until it's fluffy, and then you stop and you add the eggs. You add the eggs one at a time, mixing between each egg addition. Remember to wipe the bowl down, make sure all the bits are incorporated. Once you have the eggs mixed in nicely, you're going to start adding the flour. And so you'll add a combination of flour and then some of the milk, alternating flour and milk in roughly 3 parts until it's fully incorporated. Okay, the last little bit here we're actually going to do by hand. And the reason for that is there's always little bits and pieces of flour that maybe haven't gotten completely incorporated, and you don't want any of those uncooked or unmixed pieces to wind up in your cupcakes. So go ahead and take the last few spins around the bowl with your hands, or not your hands so much, but with a spatula. That's what we call these things. Okay, now we need to fill these up about 3/4 of the way full, and try to do it as neatly as possible. Of course, neatly is not always possible. That's what makes it a little bit of a challenge, but do the best you can. And it's okay to use your finger. Just make sure that it's clean and that you aren't licking it between each one you fill. Okay, so we've got them filled, not quite 3/4, but as close as I can get. So it's time to put them in the oven and see where it goes from here. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes or so. I rotated the pans halfway through and rotated them not only between the 2 racks, but 180 degrees for even cooking, even though I have a convection oven. So now it's time for the toothpick test. Grab a toothpick to see whether or not they're done. Let's get down here and pull one out. And what we're trying to do is stick it into the center and see if it comes out clean. And yeah, it's come out pretty clean. So that one is good. And don't assume that the two are going to be done the same. Heat varies in an oven. So we'll take a look here. Came out clean. Check another. Came out clean too, so we are done. 15 minutes cooling on the rack before you move them out of the pans. So it's the next morning, and our cupcakes were finished last night, and we packed them up, sealed them up. We're going to frost them today. We ate one of them just to make sure they tasted okay. It's all about the quality control, really. And they tasted just fine, so now we're going to frost them. The frosting's pretty basic. It's 2 sticks of butter, and we whip that up, get it nice and airy. 6 to 8 cups of powdered sugar, half a cup of milk, and then I'm going to add, instead of vanilla, some lemon extract and some fresh lemon rind in order to give it a nice lemony flavor. So let's see how that works. Start mixing butter, milk, and a little bit of the sugar, and continue to add sugar to it, whipping it until it reaches the desired consistency. You want it to be fluffy, but not too airy. Okay, time to actually start frosting. Got yellow, got pink, have the right tools, and not nearly enough expertise. Okay, that's it. The last one. 2 dozen minus the one we tried. Pink and yellow, very cute. I don't think Magnolia Bakery needs to be scared of my talents quite yet. Well, probably never for that matter, but they were made for Tawn's aunt with love, and that's the important thing. Enjoy.